Hi everyone, welcome back to another week. It's hard to believe, but we're getting down close to the end of the semester. Actually, today in this video I'm going to be describing the last bit of content that we have for this course, a couple of videos and a reading. And then the week after that, you'll write your integration paper, and the discussion for the following week will be based upon those integration papers. But I'm getting ahead of myself here a little bit, so let me describe what's going to be up for this next week, the week of April 20th. And our discussion, in our discussions, we're going to be continuing to talk about social issues that are related to families' use of the internet. This past week we've been talking about gaming and video gaming and how it has an impact on families. This next week we're going to be talking about sexually explicit materials or pornography and how they have an impact on families. And the impact can be significant. Hopefully you have had a chance to view the video and do the reading around this, and you'll be prepared for a discussion as we begin that discussion on April 20th. The readings for the week of April 20th, of course, prepare you for the discussion that we'll have the next week, April 27th, and I'd like to talk just a little bit about them. They're going to be talking about something called the digital divide. Now, you may or may not be familiar with this term. Essentially, the digital divide talks about the distinction between people who have ready access to the internet and people who do not, and how that really is a fairly large social issue. And I think the good news is that the digital divide seems to be shrinking even in the last 5 or 6 years, but it hasn't gone away. And it seems to be shrinking in our country, the United States, but that's not the case all over the world. So I have 3 videos and 1 reading for you this week that hopefully are going to each address some aspect of the digital divide. First of all, there are 2 very brief videos. One is called America Offline, the other is What Does the Digital Divide Mean to Me? And I'm mainly using them. They're a little bit old, I think 2008, 2009, something like that. But I'm using them because they introduce the concept of the digital divide. What are we talking about? What does it mean? And hopefully it'll give us a common definition from which to work. So in particular, if you're not familiar with this concept of the digital divide, I think these 2 brief videos will give you an idea about what we're talking about. Following that, you may want to watch the video, the TED Talk by Aleph Molinari. Molinari is from Mexico, and he is describing a project that he has, an educational kind of project, that really is intended to make internet access available to larger groups of people. And one of the reasons I'm including this is because it has an international focus. There are millions, billions of people around the world that really have no access to the internet, or very little access to the internet. Molinari highlights this, but then he talks about one of the ways that they are addressing this where he lives in Mexico, and a fascinating project. I think you'll find it a very interesting TED Talk. Finally, I have a reading for you by Zicker and Smith. It's also another research survey that's been done by the Pew Charitable Foundation, and this focuses on specifically the internet, or the digital divide, and what's that looking like in the United States. And as I mentioned, I think one of the things that they're suggesting is that it's shrinking some. And so this was published in 2012. I suspect if it was redone today, we'd find even further shrinkage in the digital divide. But there are still a significant number of people in the United States that don't use the internet. And so I think one of the things that you may gain from this reading is by looking at, well, what's behind that? Why is it that some people are not using the internet? Is it by choice? Is it because they don't have access to it? What's the deal? What's going on? So I'd like you to watch those 3 videos, to read the article by Zicker and Smith. As with the other Pew articles, I'd say read about the first 20-21 pages down till you get to the methodology section, and then you should be able to stop after that. Meanwhile, next week I'll talk more specifically about the integration paper and how that will have an impact on our final discussion. Hope you have a great week. See you online.